Hey, man, I'm out here getting my money, man. Everybody trying to get paid. Lord ain't paying my bills. I gotta do what I gotta do. All this loose rap y'all hollering, ain't gonna put no money in my pocket, dog.
She said, why my baby dead? Mama, I don't know. I tried to bring him home, but the block ain't let him go. I knew that this would happen, I could see it in my mind. When the gun started clapping, something told me it was time. He never knew the Lord. I know it's hard to swallow. He was playing with the devil, so the devil came and got him. The devil came and got him, got to the sin. He was running from the word, from beginning to the end. He said that he was trapped in the game by the work. Ain't no time to go to church, cause his money came first. He thought he had some time, but his time got cut. He wouldn't listen to the Lord, cause his mind got shut. By the time he realized that he can die at any minute, the gunshots hit him, ain't no time to be repenting. I wish he would've listened to the Lord when he said, let the dead bury the dead. You don't need that kind of bread. I wonder if he prayed while he laid on the scene. If he called on the Lord, maybe Jesus made him clean. Another life lost to the cost of the game. The sins overcame, he was tossed in the flame. She said, why my baby dead? Mama, I don't know. I tried to bring him home, but the block ain't let him go. I knew that this would happen, I could see it in my mind. When the gun started clapping, something told me it was time. He never knew the Lord. I know it's hard to swallow. He was playing with the devil, so the devil came and got him. The devil came and got him, got to the sin. He was running from the word, from beginning to the end. He said he knew his life wasn't right, but it was his. He ain't know that tonight would be the night that it would end. A little bit of sin brought a whole lot of pain. It really is a shame he had a whole lot of gain. His mom and them been praying for him every single night, but mom and them didn't know that he ain't wanna change his life. He rolled with the guns and the drugs and the thugs. If you try to talk some sense, he said it was what it was. It does what it does. He ain't trying to see the love. He was trying to be a thug. Now it's time to see the judge. I pray that the Lord have mercy on his soul, but mercy's for the living, so you know where you gon' go. She said, why my baby dead? Mama, I don't know. I tried to bring him home, but the block ain't let him go. I knew that this would happen, I could see it in my mind. When the gun started clapping, something told me it was time. He never knew the Lord. I know it's hard to swallow. He was playing with the devil, so the devil came and got him. The devil came and got him, got to the sin. He was running from the word, from beginning to the end.
Well, what the fuck is you looking at? You act like you ain't never seen a grown man with bare parts on his face before. Shit. So this is the deal with what's going on this evening. I got the bear nose upside down, ain't that about it? Me and Mrs. O had a bet. Obviously, I lost the bet, right? So I had to wear these bear parts on my nose. Coincidentally, Mrs. O has expressed that she's been feeling much safer since I've been looking like a bear. Ain't that about bitch? The bear wins. Women feel safer with the bear. It has been tested and proven. Bear wins. Hands down. So men, become a bear. Fuck it. So tonight's episode is a part 2 to last week's episode. Mr. Hearn loses his custody to his children for the alleged exploitation, okay? And that, in essence, is parental alienation. So we're gonna take a deep dive into the parental alienation, and the signs of that, what's all going on with that. I got a couple of videos set up for you. We're gonna check it out, have our comments and stuff as usual on it and what have you. We're gonna have that. Plus, we're gonna have that hot video that you guys be looking for, and of course, my selection of the whiskey of the week. So with that, let's get into the show, baby.
You are now listening to some shit.
As we walk through this fight, day and night, we try to prepare ourselves for the battle that's set before us. Sometimes we fall because of our weakness and the weakness of our flesh, but yet we gotta continue to run.
I'm gonna run.
Yeah, the nose upside down.
I'm not done.
You listening?
Yeah,
No, I'm
we got a long way to go.
and I won't
Yo, we
give
came so
up.
far. Yeah, look,
I'm gonna
fire and heat.
race.
Sister Diane,
I'm not done.
look, it's like this pain getting harder to hide. Only Lord knows all the anger I harbor inside. Sometimes I wanna let the tears just fall from my eyes. Thought I was something and what? Had to swallow my pride. My own family tried to get me to part from my guide. They turned their ear from hearing truth cause they caught up in lies. I used to hang with gangbangers that tossed up the five. Now I just kick it with the saints and my talk with the wise. Yet I've been falling, my sins calling to tear me down. Many a renown won't make it or get to wear the crown. I ask the Lord now to forgive me for all my wicked ways. Cleanse me of transgressions before my body lay in the grave. Clean me of my secret sins, establish my thoughts, and wash away iniquities and my presumptuous faults. Give me wisdom from your word when I'm down and distraught, and give me strength to apply what I'm taught, and I'm gonna run. See what I come to learn in this truth?
I'm gonna race.
This race is not to the swift.
I'm not done.
All of us got different battles, different
No,
problems,
I'm not done.
but
And I
our
won't give
line is to
up.
fight. The Most High give us all strength to fight at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? As long as He with us,
I'm not done.
nobody can be against us, you know what I'm saying?
I won't
Look,
give up.
plead my cause, oh Lord, with them that strive with me, and fight against all those that try to fight against me. Take hold of thy shield and buckler, stand to be my help. Protect me from my enemies and even myself. Let them all be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them turn and be confused for the wicked they sown. For we remember your works and your wonders are old. How you split the Red Sea and turned it into a roll. Lord knows I'm vexed, but I'm changing my mind state. Living in a world that my God gonna annihilate. In a time where little boys wanna be like Beyonce, and drugs got the whole hood high as the crime rate. But I still run like a runaway slave who got fears of being hung. Like an army lieutenant in a war with no gun. Like politicians who already won, yet this war just begun. So I'm gon' run. In this battle that's set before us,
I'm gonna race.
we give them weapons that's no longer carnal. The Most High with us in this fight, you know what I'm saying? All we gotta do is have faith.
And I won't give
Walk
up.
in His laws, statutes, and commandments. But therein, that's the battle. Cause all those that endure to the end and don't give up will receive eternal life. So no matter what we go through in this fight, we gotta keep running. We gotta run to Him who created us. Sister Diet, sing to Him.
I've been let down. I won't give up. I can fall 7 times and get back up. I've seen mountains move, and it's because of you. That's why
in the city.
Yes, sir. So, yeah. Welcome to Surreal Sundays. We're going to get right into it. We got, let's see, this gentleman is named Darren F. McGee. Okay. He's going to talk about parental alienation, the signs, the stages, and effects. Okay. He's going to go in brief on what's going on. And for those who are experiencing not being able to see your children unjustly, and what I mean by that, there's no proven allegations involved in regards to neglect and abuse of any form, then you are being unjustly alienated from your children. Bottom line, if nothing else is going on, if you're not being neglectful, if you're not mentally, physically abusing your children, then you should be having your kids. Period. That's it. And that should be the standard within the family courts. Obviously, that's not the case. It's whatever they wake up with that day. That's what they're going to base the ruling on, the judgment on. And that's bullshit. But we're going to get into what Mr. Darren McGee says. He's on YouTube. So if you want to head over his way and get some more information, please do so. It's a myriad of information on this stuff here. But this is mainly, I'm looking out for the fellas. And yes, there are some women who experience this as well, but from what I see and from what most people see, most men deal with being alienated from their children. So men, take a gander at this, put this in your tool belt, meditate on this and glean something from it. And if you are interested in continuing to fight for your children, take this information and apply it to where it needs to be applied to, okay? So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Hello, I'm Darren McGee and welcome to my Mental Health Information and Awareness channel. Now, today's topic, I've been asked to look at and discuss parental alienation. Now, in looking at this, first of all, we're going to look at what parental alienation is. We're going to look at the effects that it has on a child or children. And we're going to look at some indicators that might show that parental alienation is taking place. So if you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. Please check out my other videos on mental health related topics. But first of all, what is parental alienation? Well, it's the term that's normally given, normally during a breakup, a separation, a divorce or whatever, when one parent, though sometimes both, try to turn their children against the other parent. They try to damage that relationship. They want the child or the children to reject the other parent. They want to do it even though the children may have previously, or still do, have a good relationship with that parent. And although either parent can alienate, both can alienate as well, I'm just going to use the terms parent A and parent B. Parent A being the one who's doing the alienating, parent B being the one who's being alienated. And I'm going to refer to child, even though it can be children, okay? So let's begin. There are three different types, three different levels of parental alienation. Firstly, there's the most common type, the lowest level, if you will. That's when a parent communicates and shows dissatisfaction, frustration, whatever, towards the other parent. Now, this can differ in intensity. There may be patterns. For example, the pattern could be Parent A starts to show that dissatisfaction, that frustration, whatever, just prior to parent B turning up to collect the child. Now, at the lowest level, parent A may later regret this behaviour. They may accept and even try to encourage, support a healthy relationship with parent B. And this would be commonly taking place, say, after the divorce, when everything's settled, whenever both have, say, moved on. Now, the effect on the child could be, at this level, the child may complain about having to spend time with parent B. However, when they're in parent B's company, when they're spending time with them, that behaviour and that relationship, it returns to the normal level. The next level ramps up the gears, more moderate level, if you will, of alienation. This is where we begin to get into the realms of brainwashing, okay? Now, this involves parent A constantly communicating negatively about parent B. Now, this could include telling the child parent B doesn't really love them because they left.
Now, I have experience with this, per se. My middle son, he came to me and said, well, my mother told me that you said we was not yours, not your kids or what have you. And then I had to go to explain. I already knew where it came from because not too long ago, I don't remember exactly what prompted the response, but it was something to the degree where she was asking me of my opinion or asking me, something for advice, somewhere along them lines where she was asking me my input or, on a situation, right? And then my response was, oh, they my kids now? So it was a sarcastic, and I believe this was over email. I believe this took place over email. So my response was a sarcastic response to her, asking me whatever she was asking me, because up to that point and past that point, I was not being respected as their father, I was being left out of, I wasn't being let known of all the extracurricular activities that were going on, and things of that nature. So, I was left out of quite a bit. And so now, because I don't know why she decided to ask me whatever. At this moment in time, but that was my response. Oh, they my kids now? So she took that. That was an opportunity to clip, so to speak, how they clip, your YouTube videos and make it seem like you're saying something or doing something that you're not. So she took that and clipped it and then told my son, oh, your father don't think or don't believe that you two are his children. Okay. And then he came back to me and asked me about that. And he's 13 years old. So at this time, so I tried my best to explain what was going on and to reassure him that, yes, I do believe that you're my children and what have you. And this is why I said what I said, because your mother was doing this, that, and the third. And that's how I handled that situation at the time. But man, it's very hard to do. It is very hard to do. And I don't know. You pretty much, you feel like you can't say shit at any time, because no matter what you say, how you say it, it's gonna get chopped and screwed and used against you. So, you damn if you do, damn if you don't, my now that I'm thinking about it and talking about it, I guess my best suggestion is, Keep it real simple, keep it real brief when talking to the mother. Act like you are in a corporate office situation and play that game. I had an ex-coworker who described divorce and the things that come along with that as lions and tigers. When that separation comes, when that divorce is being played out, and afterwards, that woman is no longer your friend. She's not looking out for you, not even a little bit. Whatever you put out there, she's going to try to mold that into something that she can use against you. Like y'all two are Republican and Democrat running for presidency. Whatever can be used, whatever can be chopped and screwed is going to be chopped and screwed and used against you. Like when you're being arrested by the police, shut the fuck up. Don't say nothing. Make them do their job. The same thing you got to do with your wife or your ex-wife or your ex-wife to be. Shut the fuck up. Make them grasp at the air and pull something out of that and use it against you. Don't give them any material because they will use it against you. It's lions and tigers. That is no longer your friend. Let's get back into the video.
They don't want them. Parent B only wants to see them, just to hurt and annoy Parent A. Parent B is hurtful, abusive, worthless, selfish, not nice to be around. Now, at the moderate level, Parent B, or Parent A rather, may be so angry they don't necessarily recognize the damage they're doing to the child, and that's why it's persistent. And the effect this has on the child is the child will strongly resist any contact with Parent B. They may become withdrawn, badly behaved, even antagonistic towards Parent B. And because the alienation is consistent, the child will eventually start to behave and feel the same way as they would at the high level.
Now, when my middle child turned 18, I was already ghost following him on, I forget the name of the platform, Instagram. I created a page right before his birthday, specifically for this purpose. So he whatever algorithms or what have you happen, you know what I'm saying, he realized that I was ghost following him. And throughout the childhood, I would call him, my nickname for him was Protege. So I would have Protege posted on my Instagram page and what have you. And he said on his page, I am nothing like you. Okay, so that was never brought up to him directly, but through my life experience, I can surely say that that was a remark towards me calling him a protege. Okay, so he started to disrespect initially, very early on. So when he became 18, I reached out to him because at 18, legally the mother has no say, cannot do anything. She can't put another PPO on me on his behalf because he's 18. So I reached out to him. And initially it started off well. And I would say maybe a year or a little less than a year or a little more than a year, he was talking about a girlfriend that he had. So I told him in a chat, that I had shared with my oldest son and him. I said, as a father will do with a loving father will do with any of his children, and especially with his sons or daughters, with his children, I gave him some wisdom. And the wisdom was, pay attention to the girl's mother and watch how she treats her man, the father in the home. The father didn't know what situation this girlfriend was coming from. I didn't know if she was coming from a mother, a single parent household, whether it was just a mom, or if there was a stepfather in the household, or a wannabe stepfather, which would be a boyfriend in that marriage. So my advice was, pay attention to the mother and how she treats her man. That's what you got. And then I gave him a script out of Proverbs, to paraphrase, saying that the daughter is like the mother. And for some odd reason, it went in his ear, got filtered through the manipulation and whatever training that the mother had put in him. And then he came back and said, don't talk about my mother like that. And he took offense to it when the message had nothing to do with his mother. It had something to do with his girlfriend. Pay attention to how your girlfriend's mother is treating her men, and that's what you are going to get. Till this day, he's tried on at least two situations to go on, but I will not let that go on, because we need to have a conversation on that. And I told him, he just, about 6 months ago, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, he has a child of his own now at 21 years old. And, my thoughts on that is, I was in the same position at your age as well, but my advice is that you're moving too fast. However, he wanted to, quote unquote, move on, because he wanted me to be part of the grandchild's life or what have you. And I told him, no, we're not going to move on. We're not going to move on until we have that conversation about what transpired, what transpired back then in regards to you interpreting that I was speaking about your mother, So I have other comments and beliefs and thoughts on that as well, but that's besides the point in this program. The manipulation that the mothers do on these children are very strong, and for the alienating parent, you already in the negative, you in the hole. It's going to be a uphill battle, a very steep mountain to climb, and you got molasses and oil and all that other stuff running down that mountain to further the resistance of you trying to be successful in that regard. So let's get back into the video.
Because at the high level of alienation, there is relentless, continual, harsh criticism, hatred towards parent B. Parent A will even rage at the mention of them. Everything about them is scorned.
And like I said in the first video, it's not only a hatred towards parent B, but it's a hatred towards your own children. In regards to my situation, the mother had her own negative experiences with her own father. So why would you create and impose anywhere near the experience you had with your own father, knowing that the father of these children was straight cut? It's because she don't love her own children. You can hide behind the facade of putting them in sports activities and dance activities and showing public face to everywhere you need to go with these children and what have you. But at the end of the day, in the spirit, you hate these children. To ask for or to express that, and this is right before the divorce, that you wish that it was just you and them, and then turn around and write a book about being a single parent. Something like, shout out to Mr. Palmer. You were not a victim. This is something that you asked for. This is something that you wanted. And then turn around and ask for public sympathy. A lot of women do this because it's available. And this is what a snatch is. This is one of the definitions of a snatch. To put things in play unnecessarily. Because of your anger and your selfishness. Let's get back into the video.
The intent there is to destroy the child's relationship with Parent B by destroying their belief and their concept of them. Parent A may even punish the child, get very upset, guilt trip the child just because they look forward to or had a good time with Parent B. If the child doesn't collude with Parent A, if they aren't negative enough towards Parent B, they will show dissatisfaction, distress, anger, depression in a way that almost punishes the child. Like parents who behave at this level of alienation, they consistently have a rigid view, not just of Parent B, but of the world around them. And it's a view that can never be changed. They're the type of parent who doesn't turn up at court. They go back on agreements, they violate court orders, they accuse Parent B of all manner of things. Now, the effect this has on the child is a mix of both fear.
Go against court orders. One of the things leading up to me saying fuck it with this situation. So I'm from the Detroit area. And at this moment in time, my children are in Virginia. Not going to specify where, but Virginia is far enough away from Detroit, period. So according to the agreement and what's on paper, the court order, the parenting time, it's time for me to have the children for 2 weeks during the Christmas break. The on paper agreed meetup point was in Pennsylvania. I should pull it up. It might take up too much time to pull up the exact location, but it's where I'm taking Detroit through Ohio, the turnpike. I guess that's 90, 80, and 90, whatever goes through Ohio and goes through Pennsylvania. And then you go into a small town in Pennsylvania somewhere. And you get on the road or what have you, do a little turnaround or what have you, and you get back on the freeway or the expressway, and you go south, and then it takes you through Pennsylvania, and you go through Maryland and what have you. You go around DC and what have you, and then you start going into the Virginias. So that little area that 90 or what have you stops at, and you get off and what have you, that's where we meet up at. So I already had a feeling in my gut there was some bullshit in the air, right? But I had to do my part, right? So I took I think it was like probably a 3-hour drive there, 3 or 4 hour drive there to meet up to nothing. Now the response was, yeah, I didn't give him any response, so I didn't agree to anything or what have you. She said absolutely nothing. I gave my what the court said for me to do was to communicate with the mother on my intentions, that I was going to go. My intentions was to exercise my parental time, and I did that through email. And what have you. I didn't get a response. No, I did not. It could have went both ways. If I ain't showed up, and then she showed up, then the courts would be like, well, it's already on paper. You communicated what you was going to do. She didn't have to respond. So I did everything on my behalf, so it wouldn't say that I wasn't trying to exercise my parental time. I show up at the meeting spot, and it was no one to meet. I tried to call Pennsylvania State Police to bring a squad car there to witness that. They turned me down. Like, no, we ain't fucking with that. I tried to save all the receipts and stuff that, I accumulated along the way. They faded. The ink has faded by now. I was looking at them about probably a year and a half ago, and all the receipts that I have off of the, paying for tolls and shit, the ink is so faded. So this is an example of the custodial parent not doing what they're supposed to do on their behalf. So when this happened, this is the beginning of me saying, fuck it. I'm not about to travel all over the U.S. on dry runs for this bullshit. Obviously, the whole game plan was, I need to get down to Virginia. I want to get down to Virginia for whatever reason. And then once I get down to Virginia, whatever agreement I've agreed to, I'm going to renege on. And then he's going to have to spend the money to fight that shit again. But by this time, I'm nearing my wit's end. Spent enough money, spent enough time, put enough emotional bullshit into play on that I was done. Let's finish out what he has to say.
And hatred towards parent B. Any contact they have with parent B is begrudged. They'll be openly defiant towards them. They may be hostile towards anyone new in parent B's life. They may even collude with parent A in accusing parent B of bad and inappropriate behaviour. And the child's behaviour when they're in the company of parent B, that reinforces parent A's assertion that that's not a healthy, safe relationship and they really don't want to be there. And that is often used in child custody battles. So there are the three different types, three different levels of parental alienation. So how do you recognise the difference between parental alienation and, say, what could be a genuine grievance on the child's part? You know, genuine upset at the parents separating, a genuine disagreement. Well, I think there's three things to look out for. Okay, now I'm not saying that this proves anything, but I think these are indicators. Okay, first of all, the child believes one parent is good and the other is bad. There's no in between. They will love one and they will hate the other. When in reality, you know, kids will get upset and annoyed at both parents from time to time, but they will still love and want to spend time with them both as well. Secondly, and this would only really apply to very young children, but the reasons for not wanting to spend time with parent B are quite silly. They don't like their beard, they don't like their hairstyle, they don't like their perfume, they don't like their music, whatever it is. It might be quite silly, nonsensical really, just the way children come out with things. Other times, the things they say might sound a little bit too grown up, not the sort of thing that would come from the mind of a child, like, I don't like the place where they work, I don't like the people they work with, or they don't have good Wi-Fi. And the last indicator, I think, is when the child doesn't just want to spend time with parent B, but they don't want to spend time with any side of that family, the grandparents on parent B's side, aunts and uncles, cousins and so on. Others who before they had a really good relationship with, looked forward to seeing, you know, spending time with, they don't want to see anybody on that side of the family at all. So there are three different levels, three different types of parental alienation and three ways to help identify it as well. If you have any thoughts or comments, please use the comment box below. I'd like to read your comments and respond to them when I can. If you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel for future updates on mental health related topics. Please feel free to suggest.
So there's levels to it. One of the levels is that, you know, the child doesn't want to have anything to do with the non-custodial parent's family or him or her. You know. Now my son, when I reached out to him, he responded. I did the exact same thing for my daughter. When she turned 18, I got on Instagram and tried to reach out. She blocked me. She doesn't want to talk to me. So the only thing that I can imagine for a daughter to act that way towards her father is if she was told that she was touched by him. And if I find out that that is true, I'm going to have to do a lot of praying. That's what I'm going to have to do. If that's true, to give your daughter that story that you experienced, I'm gonna have to do a lot of praying. I will get past that. take a lot of stepping back, taking deep breaths, recouping, getting myself back together, and coming forth and dealing with the situation in the healthiest and best way possible. But for a daughter to be that way towards her father, that's, to me, in how I think, in my imagination, that's the only scenario, that's the only story that can get a daughter to act that way towards her father. Especially a daughter who have known her father. It's not like she never knew me. She never experienced me. We're talking about the last time I seen my daughter, she was 11 years old. Up until that point, it was pretty regular to a degree. But enough interaction without any manipulation or lies would have helped through the absence, the years of absence. You know, like when a daughter or what have you, or a child or what have you, loses their father or their mother because they did something stupid and they got to go to jail for a couple of years. That love, that admiration, that never leaves. That's still there. When they come back out and what have you, it's tears rolling down their face and what have you. They happy. You know, in those situations, when the parent goes to jail or what have you, nothing's negatively said about that parent in most cases. And that child still has the same regard for them. When they left, they got that same regard when they come back and they express it. Unless that child had a negative experience with that parent. We're going to dig a little bit into this next video. It says the 17 strategies employed by a favorite parent to alienate children against the other parent. We'll check this out a little bit and see what they got to talk about. Let's go.
Rejected or targeted parent. The presence of these alienating behaviors of Dr. Amy Baker has identified 17 strategies employed by a favorite parent that causes parental alienation against the rejected or targeted parent. The presence of these alienating behaviors of the favored parent is one part of the 5-factor model in diagnosing parental alienation. The strategies are referring to targeted parent by the first name, bad-mouthing, creating an environment in which the child doesn't feel free to display photos of, talk about, or engage in activities with the targeted parent, interfering with communication, limiting contact, telling the child the target parent doesn't love him or her, creating the impression that the targeted parent is dangerous, cultivating dependency, forcing the child to choose, forcing the child to reject the targeted parent, withdrawal of love, confiding in the child, asking child to spy on targeted parent, asking child to keep secrets from the targeted parent, changing child's name to remove association with the targeted parent, referring to step-parent as mom or dad, and encouraging the child to do the same, withholding medical, academic, and other important information from the targeted parent, and keeping the targeted parent's name off of medical, academic, and other relevant documents. The presence of these alienating behaviors makes one part of the 5-factor model for diagnosing parental alienation. Watch the video about the 5-factor model for diagnosing parental alienation for more information. Written by the Parental Alienation Study Group and produced by the Law Center. To learn more about them, click the link in the description portion of this video.
So we just went over that video on trying to go back, the 17 signs of parental alienation, and this is good stuff for you men to learn what's going on when you're not there. Okay, there are cases out there where the women have been they've been punished, so to speak, in doing this thing. It's not often, but you need to get you a child psychologist and a lawyer that understands this on your team. And you're going to have to vet these people. I had 2 lawyers in the time span that I was trying to fight this parental alienation. Okay, I didn't know parental alienation, the name. I didn't even know that was a thing. I just know what I was going through. I didn't know it was a title or a name to it. Okay, I had no direction. I had no one intellectually talking to me and pointing me one way or another, and all I would do is put in a Google search at the time for lawyers that were that claimed to be for men. Shout out to that lawyer, that female lawyer in Southfield. You ain't shit, for real. I ain't even gonna mention her name. She advertised on FM 98 FM in Detroit. You need to stop. Wouldn't return my phone calls because she taking a case in Chicago. You need to vet these people. And unfortunately, the lawyers that are at, $3,000-$4,000 retainer, that's not, obviously those are the garbage lawyers. Because that's what I was spending for a retainer, $3,000-$4,000 for a retainer to hire these lawyers. So you're gonna need to spend, obviously you're gonna need to spend more, So this fight isn't for the common man. Isn't for the working poor. Isn't for the lower class. You can't afford this fight. So what do? You say, fuck them kids. And that's not saying fuck them kids in a malicious way, like, there's nothing you can do. You can't afford to fight. To get a lawyer that's going to do what they're supposed to do on your behalf. It's not going to happen. You got to pay for it. You're going to have some bread. And if you already got children at home that you need to take care of, then you're going to have to make an executive decision. Because you can't put all your resources on this. Because the chances, if you do get a competent lawyer, you do have a competent child psychologist that is trained in parental alienation, the chances still are 50-50, and maybe less than that. Now we're gonna go into the next segment, one of my favorite segments of the episode, and that is Whiskey of the Week. That's right, Whiskey of the Week. And this week's Whiskey of the Week is a scotch that I really enjoy, and that is the Ben Riach Smoky 10. Ooh, boy, this is delicious. Absolutely delicious. The Smoky 10. What is smoky in the Scotch world? Is when they use a peat moss in the process. Okay. Yeah, if you intrigued by what I just expressed, you know what I'm saying? It's content on YouTube for you to understand what I'm talking about. But the peat moss provides a smoky flavor to the Scotch, and that's what I'm really into. It's moderately smooth, so you might want to, grab you a bottle of water to follow this down, to chase this down. But the flavor is outstanding. Ben Riach, the Smoky 10. Okay, fam. It's that time in the show where we gonna bump some righteous music for you. What we have in the queue this evening is Big Gad with the song titled Vanity. Okay, out of the original Royalty Records family. So let's get it.
Declaring the infamy getting. Yeah. A lot of my people be sinning. Yeah. Don't be defiled with the women. Yeah. It's only one way you can get it. Admit it. Whoever said that I'm full of vanity, it is quite clear that they're not a fan of me. Approach directly and please be amending me. Wisdom if rain, if there's no need for canopy. Okay. If it's not script, what you handing me? My kingdom is north, don't you handle me. Destruction is coming, no amnesty. Please come and say where you plan to be. Seated at Jacob, I ride with no faking. I'm praying I make it, the kingdom is now. Will they be waiting for it? Get the shaking, that sky get the breaking. Let's see who gon' fly. School is in session, the perfect impression. I teach you a lesson ahead of the class. There is no new thing that's under the sun. You a nigga the day you was one in the past. The infamy getting. Yeah. A lot of my people be sinning. Yeah. Don't be defiled with the women. Yeah. It's only one way you can get it. Admit it. Declaring the infamy getting. Yeah. A lot of my people be sinning. Yeah. Don't be defiled with the women. Yeah. It's only one way you can get it. Admit it. Self. You planted the seed and the Lord he gon' water. Just keep the law and remain the martyr. Patience is virtue, it will get your father. This is not grievous, don't make it harder. See, you are out of order. Find the scripture. Man, find the script. It is no problem. You see that your father is all about logic and there is no mixture. No back and forth like it's badminton. The chosen is pick, ain't no admitting. I know you heard of his last victims. Only 8 survived that mission. Last days where your bag's at. Still at work, checking cash app. Waiting on checks from your ass cap. The Negro made you a lab rat. He melodramatic, he gone in the attic. He's so systematic, boy, how does it feel? Told me you had it, but you do an average. Refill your package and do it with skill. Teaching my people, yeah, this is a sequel, and we are not equals. The kingdom is sealed. Threading the needle by touching my people. That fire gon' eat it. I'm bringing no chill. Turning the infamy, get it. Yeah, a lot of my people be sinning. Don't be defiled with the women. Yeah, it's only one way you can get it. Admit it. Declaring the infamy beginning. Yeah, a lot of my people be sinning. Yeah, don't be defiled with the women. Yeah, it's only one way you can get it. Admit it. Yeah.
Yeah, that video was hot. Listen, there's a message in that, Vanity by Big Gad, out of the original royalty records. They on YouTube. They are on Apple Play and Google Music, Spotify. So this music is out there. If you want it, you can find it. You can get it. Okay. So let's move on with the show. So, in conclusion to what we just went over tonight, you got some obstacles to get over. You know, you gotta get a competent lawyer. You gotta get a child psychiatrist or psychologist on your team. I will have you to help prove your case, you know. And the cards just gonna have to line up for you. You know, that's what it is. You just gonna have to be a lucky motherfucker that day. It's too many, it's too much in play, it is too much set up in play not for it to go in your favor. So if you decide to fight for your children, I applaud that. The world applauds that. Nothing's wrong with it. Know that you need the endurance, physically and mentally, and financially. And I hope that it works out for you. For you men that tried it for a little bit like myself and, you know, said, you know, I got shit to do. This is a losing battle. Don't feel bad about that, man. Don't beat yourself up about that in hindsight. Because the game was set up for you not to even get the kids in the first place. And if your kids reject you when they get grown, you're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer until they experience life and hope that they realize what's up and the veil falls off their eyes, or the rose-colored glasses, fall off, and they see they can put two and two together and see what you was experiencing and why you decided to do what you did. And hopefully you regain your kids that way. Other than that, the only thing else I got to say to you is you need to keep these commandments, do these commandments, and hope for the opportunity to have some children again in the kingdom. And look forward to that. Because the kids you have in this system are lost, are gone, period. They out of here. They out of here. I like to hey, if you enjoy the content that the MrsOShow is bringing to you, you need to hit that like, you need to hit that subscribe, you need to comment, and you need to share, okay? We appreciate if you do those things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, okay? We will appreciate if you do that thing, okay? All right? So with that ends our episode on this topic, part 2. We're going to go into something else next week. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Shalom.
My helper, we make a perfect team. We gotta stay together, good or bad, just like Al Green. You're my best friend. I know I can count on you. You complete me, made for me. This is how it should be. Whoa, whoa. Wife, your biggest supporter, I won't get out of line. Your possession you give, mother at home, teach the kids. Yeah, you're my best friend. I know I can count on you to lead me. You complete me. This is how it should be. Whoa, whoa.
I pray we stay together forever. Now listen, I know things not gonna always be perfect, but we gotta pray, we gotta fast, we gotta do whatever we gotta do. I'm talking about